So first of all, I would like to mention that this is essentially collaborative research because it was conducted for the project which is called Independent Defense Anti-Corruption Committee, which is managed by Transparency International Ukraine and Transparency International Defense and Security Program in the United Kingdom. And basically, I was doing this the Ukrainian part, like a lead researcher, and Eva Anderson from the British part, and also like many other people contributed with the inputs, feedback, analysis, and any other inputs. So, what did we do this? I just want to kind of connect this with the goal. So the initial problem is that when there is corruption in the military sphere, then public money is wasted and people die. So just two cases. I've been told by one interviewee that sometimes when they have this fuel for these military vehicles, sometimes at every stage of their procurement and every stage of kind of transferring this fuel to individual units, they steal some. So at the end, they have so few fuel left that, for example, an armored infantry vehicle has to go to the station, refill its tank, come back, and then it's used all the fuel. So basically, it doesn't have any energy to go to the battlefield. And if you have those tourniquets, and they basically broke, and thousands of soldiers are wounded in the battlefield, they die because of blooding. So the aim of this, I mean, lots of advocacy efforts and research-based advocacy is to identify these problems which create corruption and change them not on an individual level, because then we would we need to go to the courts and prosecute individual corruption takers, and then you just punish one, and there are like two others appear. So we change policies by kind of convincing officials and talking to the public that these bylaws should be changed, or negotiating with the parliament to change even laws. So there's like a huge work going on there. So the research, we focused on the Ministry of Defense, because we have like a dozen different agencies dealing with defense and security, focused on this ministry, and the budget is quite huge. It's like 5% of the total GDP. And if we look at procurement purchases, then 55% of them are classified. This means that only those with clearance can see what these purchases are for, whom they purchase, for which sum. And the parliamentaries, when they actually adopt the military budget, they see basically only 3 lines. We need so much something. Okay, we need this money to protect ourselves. Okay, let's do it. But they don't know what they're voting for. They don't know, because already in that budget, they have instilled like single source procurement, for example, or many others, and they don't know like how much goes for boots and how many goes for armored tanks. And if we go to armament, then 95% of those are classified. This is like incomparable to best world practices, definitely less classified in NATO countries. So the field work was extensive. So we interviewed 25 people and also checked databases like beneficial ownership, and like really need to go deep into the corporate structure of these companies, like who owns that, where all the money goes, and check the procurement analysis system, Prozora, where we actually see all the tenders online, I can check like all the complaints, all the documents, like who signed what, and identified like over 100 cases, 40 cases of alleged corruption, like cases which allegedly have corruption risks. And we had an international methodology. So it was elaborated by Transparency International, and it was used in other countries like Nigeria, Morocco. So basically, it relies on over 100 of red flags. In this context, red flag is an indicator of a potential corruption risks. So we took like all those indicators and adopted them to Ukraine. So we checked which of them are really present in our country, took like the most widespread and classified them. So these kind of red flags are clusters of smaller indicators, and you'll see them. So the first thing is constraining competition. From the very beginning of the procurement cycle, one can like narrow down the number of companies or suppliers who can compete. There are multiple ways you can see the list, how people can, kind of wheel with the system. One indicative case is this smoke blend. So ministry ordered purchasing camouflage smoke, which is designed to kind of camouflage troops in the battlefield. And one company won, but when they delivered it to the units, it figured out that this smoke is not designed for military purposes. It's used for theatrical sets, for airsoft games, and other like, really civil stuff. And also this company, in this procurement, they announced they give them only 7-day notice to apply for the tender, although they need like 2 weeks. Another way is to tailor requirements to a particular company. Here we have boots. These boots are produced by Talan Lechprom. Basically, in the technical requirements, they said that these boots should be used by a particular technology. And at that time, only one company had that particular technology. And also, they made such a short notice that they need to produce every pair of boots within 3 minutes, which is like working day and night, all week long, like not like shipping, just producing. So this definitely is a relevant situation. Also, politically exposed persons can intervene in the process. We use the case of Bogdan Corporation because they produce for the army like in bulk. For example, they have these ambulances, Bogdan, which look very nice, although 60% of them broke within the first year of operation. The CEO of the company, Khutkyy, became the head of the National Security Defense Council of Ukraine. Of course, he resigned from this commercial post. Nevertheless, he, like all people maintain their contacts, so he doesn't have an actual conflict of interest, but he has a potential conflict of interest because, like, his former partners are still there. Another is we have a naval shipyard. Previously it was Lenin's forgery. Then it became naval shipyard Kuzня на Рыбальскому. So they produce boats. They never had the experience of producing military boats. They produced only commercial boats. Nevertheless, the ministry ordered to produce at least 6 armored boats for fighting at the Azov and the Black Sea. And actually, these boats are designed mostly for rivers and lakes. They're not very good at the sea. And when they produced those ships, it turned out that they don't even fire. Guess who owns this shipyard? It is owned 50-50% by NMP Kononenko and the president Poroshenko. It's like you can check in July. I'll note that later. So in July, when I had this research, it was still the case, and the one when they produced and commissioned those boats, this was also the case. So these touring cases were ordered from other pharma, and as tested by volunteers in the testing format, 50% of them broke. They went to the ministry and said, it's not right. I said, well, what can we do? So they kind of canceled this tender, but announced another tender with the same requirements. So these are not working; they're malfunctioning. Another way is to deal with this. Is when one company wins all the time. So this trade commodity in 1 year, it won like 14 out of 15 tenders, which is super successful. It's 93.3% success rate. Although we have 40 companies operating in the market, and if there was statistically competing at the same level, they would have like 2.5% success rate. So this trade commodity, they also raised the price after signing the contract. They raised it 16% higher, although according to the law, it should be no more than 10%. So National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine, NABU, prosecuted this case and questioned like number of high-standing people. And two CEO of the company, they fled the country. Right.
No? Just 15 seconds for the conclusion, please.
Okay. And that.
15 seconds there.
Yeah. What we as for that case, so we sent this report to ministry for feedback 2 months before publishing. We also made a presentation, presented it to NATO, embassies, partners, and we published it online. And like 2 months after the draft report, 2 weeks after the presentation, and 2 days after it was published online, Poroshenko and Kononenko, they actually announced selling of the plant. So hopefully our research can make a difference.